Hi guys, Ian here, and this is the SIMGOT EG2801 hybrid IEM, a gaming IEM, and I've been using this for 2 weeks now, and I want to share with you guys how well it performed in terms of gaming and listening to music. It comprises of one dynamic driver and one planar driver, and the retail price for this is $80 and is obviously targeted at gamers. So if you are interested to find out more, do check out the unaffiliated link down in the description below. So let's begin first with the accessories. This is the retail box that it comes in. At the back here you do get some graph. I'll show you my graph later, and I'll go through the specifications. Now the dynamic driver is a 10mm 2nd gen SSPC crystalline LCP diaphragm driver. Planar driver is a 6mm ring type driver. Impedance is 32 ohms, sensitivity is 119, and the frequency range is 20 to 20,000 Hz. It's got a 0.78mm 2-pin connector. The cable is a high purity oxygen free copper cable, and the cable length is 1.7 meters long. And also they include USB-C to 3.5mm dongle deck. Now inside the box you'll get a user guide and this warranty card, and also this very standard looking hard shell carrying case with a mesh pocket. I wish the case is a little bit more luxurious, but this is what they provide. And also you get two types of ear tips. One is a narrower bore, which is the black one, and then you get a wider bore ear tip. So if you want a little bit more bass, use the black one. If you want a bit more treble, use the white one. As for the cable, it's a little bit soft. It's a 4-core twisted cable terminated with a 3.5 headphone jack. It's a bit soft and it falls onto itself. It tangles quite easily, but it's very nice cable. It's very soft cable, but I wish it's a bit stiffer. Okay, on one side it comes with this inline microphone whereby you can make phone calls, play your games, listen to your music, and it comes with this button here, the play pause button, and also you can answer your phone calls and all that. And as for the ear hooks, it's very nice and soft. In fact, a bit too soft for my liking, but it's pretty alright. You can actually flex it very well. Now let's talk about the design and build quality of this. Typical of SIMGOT is very well made. SIMGOT has always paid attention to the aesthetics of the earphone, and there's no exception for this EG2801. Faceplate is got this mirror finish, and then for the inner shell is a resin finish with a nice ergonomic shape to it. It's a mid-size IEM with a fin here, and it's quite translucent. You can see the dynamic driver and the planar driver as well, and the nozzle is built in with perforated filter. Right, now let's talk about the fit and comfort for this, and they fit my ears very well. If you have medium to large ears, this is going to fit. For smaller ears, it might protrude out a little bit, but it's still very comfortable. There's no sharp edges, there's no unusual shape to it that gives me fatigue. And when I'm gaming or listening to my music, they can stay in my ear the entire day with no pain at all. Okay, so that's for fit and comfort. Now let's talk about the sound performance. Okay, first let's talk about the technical performance in terms of soundstage and imaging. For its price and form, which is a hybrid driver, the EG2801 does reasonably well with imaging. Directional cues in games, footsteps like gunshots and directional ambience, you can actually locate them with fair precision, though it's not quite at the level of higher end IEMs or more of dedicated headsets with some spatial DSP, but it does reasonably well when it comes to imaging. As for soundstage, is somewhat intimate. The width is decent, the height and depth are average. You won't get that headphone-like expansiveness, but for in-ear gaming IEM, it's a pretty wide soundstage compared to some single dynamic driver IEMs. There's also some depth in the quieter music, though in complex mixes things do get a bit compressed, and the layering is competent. but not exquisite. Now, in terms of detail retrieval and resolution, the hybrid setups gives you a boost compared to simple dynamic driver IEMs. In terms of the details, especially in the upper mid-range and treble, thanks to the planar driver. Subtle textures like room reverb, string overtones, cymbals, they are more visible than many sub $100 gear. However, there's a limit for this. For very fine micro details like whispers or quiet ambience or ultra light reverb and tails, or in extremely dense mixes, you hear some smearing or some masking of the sound, particularly from the mid bass or the lower mids region when it's driven hard. Now, in terms of the dongle that it comes with, this dongle is nice, right? But is not transparent in a way that maybe the higher end decks a bit more dynamic in terms of contrast, and sometimes it gets lost if your source is a little bit weak or noisy. Now, in terms of tone and timbre, the EG2801 leans towards a more exciting sound. Bass is present, treble is bright, but it's not really raw most of the time. Mids are somewhat recessed and relative to the bass and treble, but it's still usable. Timbre is reasonably realistic in vocals, though male vocals can feel a little bit lean if you prefer a bit more warmer mid bass. As for instruments like acoustic guitars or piano strings, they sound reasonably natural, though slightly colored. It appears in certain tracks. For example, cymbals may have a bit more sizzle. Synthesizers or electronic highs can be a bit piercing at times if you don't manage your seal properly, or if you mix with sauce that has a harsh treble signature. Alright, so that's for the tone and timbre. Now let's take a look at the sound signature. I'll post my graph somewhere up here. Okay, so as for the sub bass, it's got a good rumble. Your field extension down to the low frequencies is a bit rolled off. It's not earth shaking like some other big planar headphones or bass head IEMs, but it's enough to give weight to explosions in games or your bass guitars or your organ pipes. So if you listen to very bassy EDM music, you might want a little bit more rumble on this IEM. As for the mid bass, it's a little bit more prominent. The mid bass has a bit of warmth and impact, but sometimes it bleeds into the lower mids, especially when it's pushed in terms of volume. So bass control is okay, but it's not ultra tight. There's some trailing or blooming on the dynamic bass hits. So for gaming, this gives a very satisfying punch, and yeah, you will like gaming on this IEM because the punch is really good. And for clarity in complex music like classical and jazz, this mid bass is somewhat a bit overwhelming. Now, in terms of the mid-range, it's a bit recessed compared to the bass and treble. If you look at the graph, the vocals are present but pushed back somewhat. The upper mids, which is roughly about 2 to 5K region, it gets a bit of boost, partly due to the planar gain, which helps with the presence. But the lower mids there, roughly about 250 to 500 Hertz, they are lightly set back. So like things like male vocals or cellos, it may lack a little bit of the body. For some users, this may feel that it sounds a bit thin or it's a bit bright, or it depends on the personal preference. As for the planar gain and the presence, there is a noticeable presence in the presence region, roughly about the 4 to 6K region, and this will help with the clarity of the vocals, instruments, and especially with gaming cues like footsteps, hits, gunfires, and explosions. And it's good for cutting through all the noise or any dense mixes. But for sensitive ears or harsh mastering, this may become a bit fatiguing. when it comes to the Planar gain and the presence. As for the treble, the extension is decent. The Planar driver helps deliver the shimmer, the air, and the details in the cymbals and the hi-hats and the strings, etc. Probably brighter than average compared to other IEMs. There are moments of sibilance or harshness in certain tracks, especially recording that emphasize the 8 to 12K region. And also if you don't get a proper seal or you're using with a source that does not match with this IEM. And it's also slightly peaky in some upper treble, though not so much in some budget bright DD IEMs, because the hybrid does help to smooth things out somewhat. Alright, so that's the overall sound signature of the EG2801. Now let's compare with some other IEMs. Now compared to a pure dynamic driver IEM like many budget gaming sets, the EG2801 offers a better detailed retrieval and better treble extension. The hybrid design makes a difference for bright musical instruments like the cymbals and whatnot. Compared to other hybrid IEMs in the same price point, it competes decently. Now you give up maybe some refinement over higher tier hybrids, with better control or upper smoothness and treble transitions, but you get more value in terms of accessories that comes in this IEM, and also with the gaming orientated features. Now if you prefer warmth and a plush mid-range, the EG2801 might feel a bit lean or sharp. But if you prefer brightness or clarity and gaming sticks out, this is going to be your type of IEM. Now let's list out some pros and cons for this EG2801. In terms of pros, it's a hybrid DD plus Planar IEM that gives a useful trade-off in terms of the punch in the bass, the clarity in the treble and the upper mids, and it's also strong in the accessories. It gives a pretty good set of accessories for the price that they are asking for. It's got good imaging for gaming, directional cues, far more usable than many budget IEMs, and it's got a solid value at the price, especially for mixed use for gaming and listening to music. In terms of cons, I would say just the mids, right? Especially the lower mids. They're slightly recessed. Male vocals and some instruments won't have a full body, sounds a little bit thin. Treble sometimes is peaky. It can be fatiguing on bright mastering unless you EQ it or you use some softer tips. The bass control isn't razor tight. The mid bass is a bit bloomy and it bleeds into the mids in some tracks. And for very high fidelity lovers, you'll see some smudging in denser mixes, or you lose out in more expensive or you lose out to more expensive IEMs in terms of subtle nuances. So in order to conclude, the SIMGOT EG2801 impresses more than many in its price point when you prioritize gaming responsiveness, directional clarity, and lively, exciting sound. If you are someone who values warmth or ultimate smoothness or ultra refined mids, this won't be quite your end game. But for $80 US, this is among the more compelling hybrids you can get if you want a one device IEM for both gaming and music listening. So if I were to recommend this, I'll say this is a good match for gamers who don't want to compromise too much on music listening, or for people who like clarity, brightness and presence, and willing to accept some trade-offs in the lower mids, and users who will experiment with ear tips and EQ to tame the peaks or improve the comfort. So if you care more about warmth or smoother mids and a gentler treble, there are other options out there, even at this price range, that may suit you better. But overall, the EG2801 hits more yes boxes than no at its price point. Alright, so that's my overall thoughts and opinions about this EG280. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up, and also please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. My name is Ian. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again in my next video. Cheers.